What? It was
Oh my
so
god, are we
confused.
recording the podcast right now?
Yes, we are recording the podcast.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Sorry. Okay.
For the audio listeners, he was lying down on his bed and taking selfies, presumably for his Instagram.
No need to embarrass me. I wasn't taking selfies. I was watching Netflix. All right. Ready to begin?
I'm ready to begin. This is gonna be a good episode.
You want to do the intro?
I do want to do the intro.
All right.
Yes. All right. Intro time. Welcome back to the Chatting Chaps podcast. This is episode 3. I am Marco, and this is Daniel, and we're going to be chatting about things and stuff. How
Which
are you
one of
going,
us is the
Daniel?
chaps and which one is the chatting?
I honestly, am I chat or you chap?
That's what I was asking you.
I have no idea. Do you know?
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
So let's jump into it.
Oh
Let's
boy,
just
do we have
jump
a
into it.
story for you? Wait.
Am I
Before we
recording?
do
Yeah.
that, do we have questions at all from
Yeah,
viewers?
that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna do
Oh,
the questions
okay.
first.
Then let's do that. Let's
Let's
that
hop
first.
on over to the subreddit. Oh, if you don't know, this is a special episode.
This
You'll
is a
see
special
why.
episode.
We're gonna
You'll see
get
why.
into some great stuff. But let's
I
kick
should
it off
put a
with our.
stopwatch on.
Let me check the subreddit, even though I checked it already. I mean, I'm sorry. I know. I know. I checked it already. It's bad of me, but I did. There's nothing on it, so that's
There's
great.
nothing on
Guys,
it.
join
That's
the
epic.
freaking subreddit. It should
Give
say
us
right
stuff
here,
in the
or
subreddit.
you can just find it at reddit.com/r/chattingchapspodcast. Or if you're on Reddit, just type in r/chattingchapspodcast.
Please.
All right, so let's check on over to the Instagram where I asked you guys. It's not a sustainable thing. We're probably not going to keep doing the Instagram thing, but since no one's going to the subreddit,
We
need
gotta,
content.
until we get traffic in the subreddit, we're not going to,
Yeah, we're just going to do this for now.
not going to be able to
All right, our first
do
question.
the questions thing without Instagram.
You're
You
frozen,
know
but
what I'm
that's
saying?
good. That's fine.
You dig.
We'll do an editing gag for you being frozen.
You were
Just
also
kidding.
frozen.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh,
That's epic.
now you're good. All right. So these aren't like that many questions, but that's
Just
good.
go. We have a whole topic. This
All
is a
right.
special episode.
Yeah. What's the craziest story you know that has happened to you?
Oh, well, funny you bring that. Well, that would have been a very extremely good segue.
Ooh. Well, what's something that happened to you that's pretty crazy?
What's something that happened to me that's pretty crazy? I've not experienced very many crazy things. I can't really think
Dude,
of
I was
anything on
hoping
the
you would
spot.
carry this question because I have the most boring life in the world.
Yeah, no, I think I've been part of more wacky things than you, but it's nothing really that crazy. I can't think of anything.
Fun
We might have
fact,
to
I
hold
almost
that
started a
question.
forest fire once. Kind of. It's a dramatization. What really happened? We were camping, all right? You know how when you camp you have a fire?
Yeah.
That's what you do when you camp. Fun
Where
fact.
was this?
This was some place. I'm not gonna say the place, but
Okay.
it was a place, and it was epic, and it was like this lake place, and
That's epic.
there was poisonous kind of water, or not poisonous. I was little, so I don't remember the details, but something in the water, you know, one of the old algae stuff or something. I don't know, some toxic stuff you shouldn't really have on your skin, and we were all pretty freaked out by it. But what happened? That's important. So what happened was this. We had a campfire, and I had a stick, and I was tossing it to the campfire, or was I making marshmallows? I don't remember. Our family isn't really big on marshmallows. It's kind of just me and my brother carrying that thing, carrying the marshmallows, driving the marshmallows. But yeah, we were having something, I think marshmallows, and I burned the edge of my stick, and I freaked out. I probably did one of those comical kind of I kind of spun around, waving in the air like.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do though? Don't you like kind of torch your stick a little bit so that like all the stuff that was on it goes away and it's just a stick? Well, unless you like
I don't know,
whittle it
but
down.
here's what my
Using sticks is
solution
not
was.
very hygienic.
Here's my solution, right? Oh yay, this is burned. You know, nowadays I'd probably stomp on it or something.
Oh, was it
Stomp.
like burning?
Yeah, it was burning.
Oh.
Yeah, it was proper burning. It was basically a torch, but it's a stick, so they go like down really quickly. They start
Yeah.
to burn down to a crisp. So basically, I was like, "Oh yay, there's some water. I'm gonna go dip it in the water." Fun fact: water poisonous, and here I am waving the water, poisonous water that I just blew. I just got the fire out, but I had this like kind of poisonous stick, and I was just
What?
like waving it around the
This is so
campsite.
bizarre.
Dude, my memory is horrible, and on
Was
top
this
of
in
that, it was a
America?
crazy situation. Yes, it was America.
What's
Yeah.
with the poisoned water? Okay, I'm not gonna question that.
It's just like that weird crap you shouldn't. Oh, whoops. There's that like weird algae or some bad
Whatever.
stuff.
I think I haven't gotten up to anything really crazy, but I have done some shenanigans. Nothing. Yeah, no.
What's the worst time that you've had to go poop?
Oh no. Okay, I have a great story. So,
Everyone does about poop. I mean, come on.
not a great story, but I went to school. I was going to school. I get to school really early, and this was when I was still drinking that tea. That if you don't know about this, watch the last. I think that was
Ketchup
yeah,
on our
ketchup.
episode.
But I was drinking tea, and it was like heavy on my stomach,
Mm-hmm.
And I was in first period because I had been there for a while because I get there early. I was in first period, and I didn't want to miss any of the class because I knew if I went, I wouldn't come back. Like I wouldn't come back in time for the class because it was near the end of the class where I was like, oh my God, I really need to go to the bathroom. So I waited. I waited. At that point, it was bad. It was drastic. And so I walked at a very fast pace to the bathroom, and I'll spare you the details, but it took a bit. But the
You can tell me the
reason,
details after the podcast.
but
I want to know.
the reason why I bring this up is because after I was a bit late for my class, but they didn't care. And because I was feeling a bit like not the best before, like mentally and physically, I went to class after this and I was feeling so happy. I was just so happy. Like this mental and physical weight that was like lifted from me. And I was so happy for the rest of the day. And that's my story.
Post poop euphoricism, euphoria, post poop euphoria.
Yes.
Okay, so all right. Do you know the toys Playmobil?
Yes, I do.
Did you play with them a lot as a kid?
Yes, I did. I had like a train set.
I mean, I sometimes still do. Like my brother isn't that young, but like they're kind of fun. We have like a pretty good collection, and we could come up with some stories. Basically, when we can't play video games, that's what we do.
Surely.
Occasionally, and basically there's this weird phenomenon. I don't know about whether it's because you're sitting on the floor or because you're like, yeah, you're down on the floor and you're like sitting there for hours and hours, but for some reason at the like most exciting part of our like toward the climax of our Playmobil story, or once we've set everything up and we're gonna begin the story, for some reason both of us have to suddenly rush to the bathroom, and it's a phenomenon.
What?
I tell you, it happens every time.
This happens regularly?
Well, every time we play Playmobil, yes. I mean, we don't play Playmobil
But
regularly.
like that's
And what happens,
interesting.
we have a bathroom that's close to his room, and we both rush to the same bathroom, and then we're like, no you, and then
Like what happened in the first episode.
yeah,
How
kind
you
of.
were like,
Yeah. And we like, somebody goes to one bathroom, another person goes to another, but it's just, I don't know why we always have to go poop. And in fact, at this point, we even expect it. Like, we know, okay, don't
it's
get
gonna
too
happen.
don't get too excited about this. We're gonna have to go
You
poop. So
assign bathrooms.
that is an idea.
You should
This guy's thinking
you
ahead.
should you should call dibs on your bathrooms. It's like before you start playing Playmobil. It's like I will play Playmobil with you on the condition that I get the upstairs bathroom.
Yeah.
We have a story, and we started talking about it last episode, and then we cut it because we didn't put on like a timer or a stopwatch or whatever, which I
Yeah, it
have
was
on
like
right now.
45 minutes too much. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 45 minutes extra, and it was all just that. So we cut it before we started talking about it. But it was really, really extremely funny. And we call it
The Saga of the
the
City-States.
Saga of the City-States. And
And
there's a lot
right
of
now
setup
in
to go.
editing, I'm gonna play in post. I'm gonna add the title card for it. A dramatic title card. It's a special episode. That's what we're doing. The Saga of the City-States.
All right. Okay. Special episode. Saga of the City-States. Oh my lord. There's so much that needs to be set up. There's so much. We need to also come up with names for all
Do you
the
have a
different
Google
people.
Doc or something?
I do have a Google Doc open with all of the notable people's names.
Right,
Because we don't want to like expose people.
Can you type in the chat real quick? Which
Well, that's going to
email?
come up in the recording.
Nope,
And then you're
it
going to
won't.
have to
It
blur it.
won't. Nope.
So I might as well just okay.
It won't come up. Is this wire been here the whole time?
Yeah, so?
Is it annoying?
No, it's just a wire. I honestly haven't noticed it. Just get on with it.
Wait.
Daniel.
Okay, let me fix it. Okay, there. Okay. Sorry. So I'm going to rewind the story back to 5th grade. So in 5th grade, I was doing pretty well for myself. All right. So the way it works is, you have a bunch of elementary schools, and they all come together in middle school, and most of the people stay and move on to high school. And what happened was in middle school, I did not know any of the people we're going to talk about, and I did not even know Marco. This guy
I did not know you at all.
Yeah. But what happened was this. So I had a bunch of friends, a lot. I would say like a good amount. I was kind of, sitting in terms of popularity and stuff, because we kind of did regard that a little bit back in the elementary school.
Yeah.
I was like toward the top, but kind of doing
popular
good, right?
lad.
I would even talk to the cool kids.
The cool kids. Great. I had a similar status during the 5th grade.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I would talk to the cool kids, but I wasn't a cool kid.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily a cool kid, but I would sit at their table. I would talk with them. And the reason was one reason. And it started in 3rd grade, but I'm not going to tell how we met or anything, but I had a great best friend. Editor's note. Hey chaps, just so you know, we're not using any of their real names, including Joe. All the names are made up. So Joe. So I was friends with Joe. I hate the name Joe. Just kidding, I don't. Joe was a good guy. We were good friends. We did a lot of goofy stuff. And I don't know what it was, but in 5th grade toward the end of 5th grade, it started that there were some rumors floating around about me. And this might be what ultimately ended our friendship. So we considered each other both best friends. I'm not imagining this. 100%. I remember it was a definite thing. We were both considered each other best friends, or at least very close friends. It's not like I was tagging on and he hated me or anything. But what happened was this. From my recollection, a rumor started that I was gay, which isn't true.
I've had people ask me if I was gay many
Yeah,
times.
but it was like a serious, like people actually thought it. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it was a joke or something. But I was, you know, I kind of didn't even know or care what it was at the time. I was just like, okay, they're calling me that. I don't like to be called that. I knew what it was, but I didn't care that much. And I guess before the rumors started, what happened was we would just like do like fun, goofy stuff. And like, for example, one time he came over to my house and we literally just switched shirts. We thought it'd be hilarious to just switch shirts. Now, nowadays, you'd be like,
Did
that's a little weird, but we were just little kids. And honestly,
you
what
went
is
to
the
his
harm?
house with the sole purpose of switching shirts?
No, he came to my house and it
With
was
the sole
not,
purpose of
that
switching
was not the
shirts?
sole purpose.
But it happened.
It happened.
Okay.
And it wasn't awkward for us. It wasn't weird. It was just like, dude, it's going to be hilarious if we literally just switch shirts. Now, switching shirts is not the same as switching underwear, okay? So it's really not that bad, I think. But people kind of made it a big deal. But there was something else that happened. I'm not going to tell it, and it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't really matter. But in 6th grade, first day of 6th grade, first day of middle school for our place here, I vividly remember. Do you remember this? There's the auditorium, and we walked into it. There was just empty seats and a few kids in it.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
you
was
came a
kind
little
of
later.
wacky.
It was spooky. No, it
That
wasn't spooky,
auditorium
but
is spooky. I've worked in that auditorium many, many times, and I still hate it. Well,
it's
it's
a
also
weird
old and
thing.
decrepit and broken, and none of the technology in it works, which makes my job much harder.
I still remember how it looked back then. And just imagine it was a very long corridor. I was looking down it, and there was the tiny little principal on the stand. He wasn't small or anything. He was just like in my vision. He was like very far back, and basically I went to go sit next to my friend, Joe, who was sitting next to his other friends who I did not know, and I was going to introduce myself, but he kind of avoided me, and he quickly got someone else to sit where I would have sat. And I was like, okay, that's
That's a
fine. I guess
rip.
I'll sit in the seat behind him and talk to him that way. He did not care to talk to me. He was ignoring me, and it felt awful, frankly. 6th grade was therefore became kind of tough because I had lost my best friend. That is kind of a difficult thing. I don't know why he just didn't want to talk to me anymore. Maybe it
Have I
was
met this person?
yes, I will write in the chat. You will be surprised that I was friends with them. Now I'm gonna let you tell your 5th
All
grade
right.
lunch table
My
scenario.
5th grade lunch table scenario. This bleeds into 6th grade. So I was with some people, and this is pretty straightforward. Some people in there were two tables. Okay, there was that I kind of was a part of. There was the cool kids table, and then there was the friends, kind of my actual friends. The cool kids, I would sit with them occasionally. I'm not sure why. I don't know. But and then there would be my actual friends, and I'd sit with them, and whatnot. So after that, that table kind of bled over into the 6th grade. Things didn't really change too terribly much, and that was a good transition. And then our school had a tech room, and me being a very technological guy, I said
Is
no.
5th grade or 6th grade the tech room?
The 6th grade. It started in
Oh,
6th grade, but
okay.
my 5th grade,
All
my
right.
whole table just bled over into the 6th grade. It really didn't change at all.
Okay, because in 6th grade, I want to describe how I met you. Because I met you before I met any of the other guys.
Chapter 1.
But anyways, there was this tech room, and I spent all of my 6th grade lunches in this tech room playing Helmet Heroes on my Chromebook with a bunch of guys. who would also play Helmet Heroes on their Chromebooks. You know who you are.
All right, now I'm going to tell my side of the story. 6th grade. Again, we're back to 6th grade. It's a new place, everything's weird, but I had one class I very much enjoyed, and I still do, and I really miss the teacher that taught there. He was great. I'm going to type him in the chat. His name is going to be Fartman.
Fartman.
So Fartman, you see it?
Oh, what a homie. He was my favorite teacher as well.
He was amazing. He was such a great guy. I don't know what happened to him, but he was great. And Fartman,
are we calling him Fartman? Don't call him Fartman.
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything. I think he would have been fine with it. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, he would have been fine with it. Okay, we'll call him Fartman.
He was hilarious.
Everyone loved
really
Fartman.
Witty guy.
He had a very
I loved his
strange
class.
personality, though. It was great, though.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
I loved his class. It was an engineering class, and surprise, surprise, that's my favorite thing now. I want to be an engineer. Spoilers.
Epic.
You too, right? Didn't you?
Yes, I went every morning and
engineer gang.
Every morning. Yeah, every morning I would go to the tech rooms and I just do projects for Mr. Fartman and the other teachers. And I would just, that was my home for the whole of the middle school.
Okay,
just every single morning without fail.
Anyway, so I met Fartman. I was like, okay, this class is amazing. We actually had a great, he would like pick on me in class, but I was totally fine with it. Our personalities.
Well, he would pick on everyone. That was his personality.
No, but I was like, we is it weird to be friends with the teacher? I mean, we were
I had that relationship with him.
It was good. It was great. And you know what? He was like, oh yeah, if you want to work on this project or whatever, I don't remember what it was. Come in the morning to the tech room. No, you don't know what it was. But I came to the tech room, loved it, and guess who I met? Marco. And now I'm going to tell my side of the Marco story, and you could tell your side of meeting me. So this is how I met Marco, and it's going to be underwhelming. So I met Marco. I see him. He had very strange hair at the time, very long, weird.
Oh, that's when I had the,
messy hair, and, he was like a little weird. He was a little awkward. And you know what? You have to give me credit because I mean, this is going to sound really mean. This is not how I think anymore. But I was like, you know what? The last guy who I was friends with, I wasn't cool enough anymore. Maybe the people I was hanging out with or something. And I need to make sure that I hang out with the kids who will, so I don't get bullied or anything.
What does that mean?
That didn't work out. So
what does that mean?
I saw you. I was like, you know what? This guy's a little weird, but anyway, because I definitely made it first impressions.
It's like he definitely can't bully me, so I should start hanging out with him.
Yeah, no, I was like,
if so, I totally get that.
That's not what happened. So I was just, I was like, I would go there, and you would like try to make conversation with me and try to be friends with me. At least
I was pretty socially awkward though.
Yeah, but it was fine, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be with this kid. I don't know if you remember this, but I was kind of distancing myself.
Yes, you were.
Social distancing. I feel really bad about it
Very
now,
important.
But that's okay, because we are great friends. Anyway.
Yeah.
And it took a little time. We warmed up to it eventually, but it wasn't the tech room where I got to become friends with him. I think when I met him later, which we'll get to.
But it wasn't because we worked on this project for Mr. Fartman during.
That was a great project, yeah.
6th or 7th grade. I think it was the 7th grade.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was the 7th grade. And then we kind of grew apart. I mean, we were never really together. We were just working on the same project.
But I started to like you more.
He did start to like me more. And then we just didn't talk until.
Wait, tell your story of how you met me.
I honestly don't remember. I was just so engrossed in my project. I'm like, one day I'm working on it. You come in. And then we start working, and I'm like, oh, who's this kid? Oh, whatever. Let me keep working on this project.
What was your first impression of me?
I really don't. Oh, yeah. You seemed very, like, uptight. I was like, listen. I was very reluctant to work on this project with him. I'm like, who's this guy? I don't know what this guy's doing. He looks kind of funky, very uptight. I don't know. You didn't see, but yeah. I mean, obviously that's not you at all, but that's what my first impression of you was, and I was very reluctant to start working on that project with you because the tech room and
I didn't smile.
those projects were kind of my home, and it's like, when someone new comes in, there's always a certain amount of, who's this guy,
Intruder, yeah.
But
imposter, sorry.
Imposter, but you did good work, I will say.
So yeah, now we met each other, but we don't really talk except in the mornings. So what happens? What is this friend group? What are the city states? Don't worry, we're getting there.
Chapter 2.
In 6th grade, I was like, okay, I don't want my friend anymore. Tried to sit him at lunch at the first few days, did not work at all. Then I decided to go with my gang from elementary school. Yeah, that was good, but there were a couple kids there from like baseball or something who I didn't know, and they hated me for some reason. Just new guy, don't know him, so I hate him. It's your second year of middle school. You have established these tables. You don't move, okay? But I was a nomad.
Except for the few nomads.
I was a
one
nomad.
Of the few.
I was a nomad, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it was a bad thing. It was thrilling. I'll say that. Constantly, switching over borders, just hunt down prey, trying to follow my friends around. Being a hunter-gatherer. Trying to get, also be at the, each table came out at different times sometimes. Like certain friend groups would come at different times at lunch. So I met, his fake name is Andy. I met Andy in a math class of mine in 7th grade. This guy was great. He was funny. Our senses of humor and what we like to do was we were vibing, okay? We were vibing. And, we would draw together when we weren't supposed to in math class, and also in geography class. And we weren't supposed to at all, but we did. And one day I was like, you know what, man, it's great to talk to you. Let's talk more. So I started going to his locker, talking with him there. Then I started talking more and more, texting him. And then I got to the lunch table. Sorry that such a long,
You said his
story.
name. You said his name.
Okay, I'll bleep it out. I meant Andy.
Okay, so Andy, I've known Andy forever, and that's how I got to know this group of people. I'd known Andy since we were 5. We went to this after school program, and we had this little battle of like tiny people where we would both like have little playhouses, and we were 2 little playhouses, and we were just like, no, you're a poopy head. You're a poopy head. And then we became best friends. And then it was just that for as long as I could kind of remember.
So I want you to describe because you were there, what it was like when I first came to the table.
Well, you first came to the table, and then you left, and then it took a little bit for you to get fully integrated into it. But it was... the general mood was, who the heck is this guy? We don't really...
Well, I knew you, but it was like, why are you
here? A lot of the general consensus was, we don't really like this guy. Can you shove off, It's like...
It's funny, because now these guys are like, we are like pretty good friends. I'm pretty good friends with almost all these guys. Well,
I'm pretty good friends with a
we'll
lot
get
of
to what
guys,
happens
yeah.
That shifted everything.
Chapter 3.
There was kind of a leader to it.
Okay, well,
Gustav was the leader.
Gustav, yeah.
Just check who the name is. Gustav was, for some reason, he was like a president of the table. And I was like, okay, this is weird. There was a group chat too, which was important. There's one character we forgot.
No,
I'll put him there, and we need a name for him.
But he didn't really count.
Yeah, he was big in my part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this might be a long episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Gustav. So Gustav he started to like me, and we had a vote. I don't remember why, but the ultimate initiation to the group was whether I'd get into the group chat.
This sounds so much like hazing. Now that I think about it, this sounds so much like hazing, like an initiation.
Oh yeah, it was weird, but this is what
I
kids do.
really didn't realize how close
kids
this
do
was.
These things, like, you know how they do, like, they have like these treehouse clubs, and they do like,
oh yeah.
they like switch blood or something.
You can't come to my birthday party.
People do weird things, but when they're kids, but that's fine.
You should just say switch blood.
Goose.
I've never done that.
No,
Goose?
I didn't do it either, but I heard of people doing it.
What about Goose?
So Goose is another character name.
Goose is another character.
Gustav. Okay, so was Gustav against me being in the group?
Yes. Well, because you would spam the group and then.
No, but I wasn't in the group yet, so.
Well, yeah, but he was against it, and then we said, okay, just give him a chance, and then, like, we were in the group.
Against me. Goose hated me. Now we're good friends.
Yes, Goose kind of hated you.
Yeah.
But
Goose kind of hated me. Goose hated me.
But I think the man who really, Tony was the guy who really like kind of stood up for you. It's like,
oh man, gotta give him props, because I feel real bad of what happens later in this story.
He should like, let's let him join. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll let him join. He seems like a generally stand-up bloke.
I was a different person back then, a little bit. I mean, my general personality was, I was trying to figure out kind of who I wanted to be, and I was very excited. I was very energetic, which I still am, but kind of all over the place, which I still am, I guess, but very silly, and sometimes a little too much, and I did like provoking people, so.
But he would always spam this chat, and Gustav would not be very happy about that. He would be, Daniel, shut up. He would be like, Daniel, stop. This is not what this is meant for. Stop spamming. And now can we talk about 8th grade? Because this is when it pops off. This is when it all starts to happen.
At this point, I'm in the group. We set everything up, which took a while, but we've set everything up. Yeah, okay.
So the reason why it's city-states, I'm not sure if I've explained this yet, but the reason why it's city-states is because the tables, we compared them very much to city-states, and we called them city-states. And each table had its own hierarchy. It's very complicated.
Were there names for each kind of city-state?
Yes, there kind of were. There were some. There was the Thoticus Maximus city-state. There was the Thoticus Minimus city-state. I can't think of any others.
What was our city-state called? Did it have?
I don't know. To us, it was just our city-state, but
true.
The tables were like city-state. City-states. So our hierarchy was.
There was a hierarchy within our city-state?
Because all city-states had their hierarchy. Like the Thoticus Maximus.
Leadership hierarchy or hierarchy of who's important? Like as a person, who do we not care about?
So, opposed to other city-states?
Was it oh yeah, Daniel sucks, he's the worst person of our group?
No. Was it there was a leadership hierarchy.
Gustav is the most important.
Gustav is the leader.
Okay.
Gustav is the leader, and Gustav has always been the leader. Don't ask me why. There was a point where in the 8th grade, before all this kind of happened, where Gustav was
didn't want to be leader anymore?
No. I was best mates with Gustav. No, he was always the leader. And then there was probably Tony a little bit farther down. Tony and Goose, definitely. And then of the other people, we need. Yeah,
I know who we're thinking of. Yeah, him.
But the other people were kind of just normal people. So Tony, Leopold, not Tony, I mean Andy, Leopold. Oh, yes, and we need to talk about.
All right, I'll just name everyone so you guys know who we're talking about. Gustav, leader, who we talked about. These are all fake names. Tony. Tony was the guy who actually got me in the group. Kind of
He was kind of like a second hand.
In addition to Andy. Andy is who I met to get this all started.
Then there's
Leopold
Goose.
and Flip were kind of, I just thought of them as best friends. They were like, or good buds, and they would always be the joking ones, which we'll get to later. There was a rift coming up soon.
Leopold and Flip.
Coming up soon on Chatting Chaps Podcast.
But then there was we need a. I'm gonna say it, you're gonna have to bleep it out. We need a name for. Wait, hold on. We need a name for him.
Yeah. Let me think.
But he's not important yet. So we're all this happy kind of city state. We're all good friends. We're all interlocked. We're friends. We're best buds. Enter Reginald.
Chapter 4.
He was my best friend at school because me and Andy went to different elementary schools. But we were still like best friends.
Yeah.
But he was Reginald was my best friend at school, and we would kind of do everything together. Throughout the 6th and 7th grade, we grew kind of apart, but we were still friends until kind of like mid 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But it got heated. But before that all happened, he had no table. He was a bit of a nomad. He didn't have a table.
I didn't know this. Okay.
He didn't have a table. And I said, okay, come to my table. And he kind of got integrated.
No, I thought it was I that invited him.
No.
Because I remember in 8th grade.
Or it was both of us, and it just...
Yeah, I think something happened. I remember being like, hey man, come on to my table. He was kind of reluctant, but he came over a couple times, and at one point he stayed with us.
Yeah.
And
it was a good month that he
maybe
stayed
it was
with
a combination of his Soviet jokes, or maybe it was a combination of his general personality. Our table did not like him very much.
Well, this led to something else. There was something...
Andy, and probably Flip, but he wasn't involved. Actually,
Flip was pretty chill. He didn't really do anything.
Didn't really care. They were all against... What's his name? Reginald.
I turned on him as well because of a very specific thing he started to do. And that is be homophobic with his jokes and meaning it as well.
Yes.
Like sometimes he would say some like incredibly like just like almost scary things to me about what he thought of other people who were different.
That pushed me to the edge too, I think.
Yeah, but it was more than his jokes. He legitimately believed that. From what he said outside of lunch and stuff.
I turned against him. Everyone turned against him.
Everyone hated him.
I tried
except for Flip. Flip didn't care.
He wasn't involved. Wait, Flip? Oh,
Flip didn't care. Flip never cares.
But I tried to root for him as long as possible, but at one point I was like, right, you guys are right. I don't like this guy.
So we kicked him out.
I started a beef with him over Instagram. I'm not getting into that.
This is later. This is way far later. We kicked him out. That's all that we need to know. And this is at this point tension's starting getting higher. And there was another thing that happened with him.
It ruined my trust for the rest of the group. They were like, the kids who were kind of already kind of getting uneasy, like Gustav.
Yeah.
It was like, why the heck did you invite this guy? And he did change as a person, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Reginald changed.
Well, Reginald was already a bit.
But he changed.
Edged. He did change. Point was, we kicked him out.
Yeah.
And he...
Chapter 5.
I'm sure you've all heard of incels. If you don't know what incels are, I'm going to give you a definition because I'm not going to talk off the crondolium here. Crondolium. Okay.
Crondolium.
Incels. A portmanteau of involuntary celibates. are members of an online subculture who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one, a state they describe as inceldom. And if you don't know, they have like a look to them. They like greasy.
Whatever. That's not important. Picture the Joker movie. If you've ever seen the Joker movie, it's like society.
Okay,
that
sure.
Stuff.
Well, it kind of. So there was this meme back when it was a meme, kind of, which was Chads. Okay, there was the Chads, and the Chads. If you don't know, I will look it up from Urban Dictionary.
8th grade, Marco and Daniel thought that Chad was just a synonym for jock.
Hold on, I want to explain what Chad actually is. So a Chad, in derogatory slang, is a young urban American man, typically single and in his 20s or early 30s. So this guy is now a word used against people who get girls, basically, by incels.
Normal human
but it
beings.
Started. But which they despise. It started as a synonym
as a meme.
For jock, basically. Yes. Okay. So
it did.
And also, I didn't know what an incel was. Did you?
Maybe.
Did you know Chad meant this?
I did not know that Chad meant this. I really just thought it meant jock.
So that's going to clear things up a little bit. But what happened was this. We were like, I think me and Andy joked once in gym class.
Is this about the anti-Chad union?
That's coming up. Yeah, this gets dramatic.
I think this is like really unimportant to the main story.
No. It is important. I'll tell you why. It is important.
Does this have to do with Gustav at all?
Yes, this is the entire reason from my side that Gustav is involved. So, Chads. Me and Andy once joked in gym class that there was the Chads, okay, who were on one side of the spectrum, and there was the lads who were like us. To define a lad, according to us, a lad was just maybe a gamer, maybe not, doesn't matter. Gamers and lads were aligned, but a lad was just like a normal guy who wasn't too jockey, didn't think too full of himself. I basically don't care about the system anymore. This is just like cliques and things,
Hate the system.
People grow out of it, and I am friends with people who I would have considered Chads. I am friends with people who I would have considered Sads. And I am, of course, friends with people who I would have considered lads. So there was a rift. Me and Andy, we were like, you know what? Gustav is acting a bit Chaddy recently. And we started hating Chads.
Chadish.
Kind of not the way incels do. I do not want to be any part of that
incels
group
at all. Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, the internet is a scary place. Okay, but
very much so.
We basically were like, you know what? Gustav was a chap, or was a not a chap, was a Chad.
No, he wasn't a Chad. He was becoming a Chad, or so you perceived.
In our vision, we were like, okay, he's a bit Chaddy, He's wearing like whatever was cool at the time. I don't remember. And we were like, you know what? That's weird. Also, Gloop was his friend, right?
Okay, Gloop was his friend from the other city-state.
We were like, we don't like this anymore. Gloop kept coming over.
Gloop was definitely a Chad, top tier Chad.
A little bit of it was Tony. Tony, we found a little bit.
He was a bit Chadish, but he stayed.
And basically, we were like, we kind of tried to get Leopold and who else? This whole system is very hard to get used to. Flip. We tried to get Leopold and Flip on our side, but they didn't really care about any of this.
Yeah, they were just kind of sitting there and telling jokes.
Yeah, but I think you were part of this kind of movement.
Making snowmen out of mashed potatoes.
You were kind of part of this movement of like
the anti-Chad. Yeah, well.
So we started what we called. Well,
I started. Anti-Chad Union.
Right? Didn't I start it?
Yes, you did. You started it.
Yeah, this is like the cringiest part of my life, pretty much. But not like this anymore. We started the Anti-Chad Union, the ACU.
It was just a Discord server.
That was just part of it. We had a currency called Lad Coins. We had Reginald on our side.
Lad Coins are basically Schlatt coins. For
what?
Those of you. For those of you who know what Schlatt coins are, it's the same thing.
What? It's a Schlatt coin.
Do you not know what a Schlatt coin is?
This was my and much and Andy's reasoning, and probably your reasoning too, of why we started to really, really hate Gustav. And
Yeah,
we
because
started
he was
getting more
becoming
annoyed toward him. He found, what are you guys doing? This is stupid. Guess what? He was right.
He was right.
About that.
He was absolutely right.
He was very right. But then again, he was kind of being a little jerky sometimes, and he would he would go to the other table, and he would like kind of start ignoring us as friends, thinking we weren't cool enough, and it got to us, right?
Yeah, it definitely got to us because we were all like, we really, really liked him too. We really liked Gustav.
That's when happened.
Whoa. Before that, so
Oof.
he was drifting in between this table, the same table that Gloop was from. And a lot of these people would be considered Chads. A lot of them wouldn't, or we considered them Chads. And then I started, because I was really good friends with Gustav, so I started kind of going over too. And I'm like, these guys are really funny. And they're not, I didn't find them to be Chads per se. I thought they were just really funny guys. So I started going in between these two city states.
Actually.
And then there was the Civil War.
Chapter 6. The Civil War.
There was a deep hatred for Gustav, and he was like, you know what? Everybody who else thinks that this whole anti-Chad union thing is really stupid, come on, like, join my team. And what happened was...
What was his team? I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a bit of a team kind of thing going on. This is like one half of the Civil War, right? Every Civil War has two parties, right? At least.
Yeah.
So it was Gustav, Tony, Goose, definitely.
Well, Goose was kind of a I really don't care.
Yeah, okay, but still, he would often side with them. Gloop, okay, so that's at least, how many did I say? Like 5 or 4? Sorry, 5 or 4 people. And versus, okay, the strong team was you. Okay, you, me, and
we
Andy.
have a text channel called Chad War.
Oh. Okay, you, me, and Andy, that was the strongest group, right?
Yes.
Alright, chaps, at this point in the podcast, everything becomes quite confusing. So, let me just give you the scoop. Okay, so, there was the Civil War, and within it, what ended up happening was there was a strong hatred. Basically, me and Gustav kind of became enemies. There were a bunch of little battles. Some were very personal, some not. And for Marco, similar battles with certain people. Definitely, Reginald was involved, and also Gloop, and a few others. And at some point, we really hated each other, and by the end of the year, on the very last day, I remember that we just kind of all avoided each other, and we tried to have a good final lunch, but the whole time Gustav was not there because he just left, and that was to me at least, and I'm sure Marco would think so too. That was the end. That was the end of really our city-state.
Chapter 7. The Aftermath.
So yeah, Civil War. All it resulted in was people's friendships got shaken up. Some were strengthened, like Andy's and yours, I guess. But
yeah, and mine and Leopold's, surely.
Yeah, but you know what? In the end, it was a horrible thing that happened.
Yeah, just in general.
I'll be honest. Now my life view is like, I don't want to be mean anymore. I don't want to make enemies. I want to try to keep as many friends as I can, and I want to be nice to people. And I don't,
the end of the year came. We graduated middle school. And this was near the end. This was near the end of all of our friendships, and everyone except for you, we all went to Gustav's lake house. Did you know about
and
this?
I wasn't invited, and this is part of the reason.
Because
He
Gustav
also
really didn't like you.
He also kicked me off the group chat, and I did a bunch of things. And at one point, we just were basically polar opposites, and we were enemies, and we still were for like a while until recently. We've made up. I've made up with everybody here except Gloop.
Right now, I'm great friends with you. I'm
Mm.
great friends with Andy and Leopold. Flip, I mean, we're just kind of like I would say we're buds. We're not
Yeah,
like
me too. Yeah.
best friends. Like I used to see him every morning. We don't really talk that much anymore because of Clementine, but it's I have no hard feelings towards him, and we actually talked the other day.
I don't talk to Tony very much, and we had like a little dispute.
Oh, I went
But
mountain biking with him a while ago.
but we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're
I am
also
good
kind
with
of mutual.
everybody here now, actually, including Reginald.
Goose is
Right?
still not my favorite person. There was a point where me and Goose were like best buds as well.
Me and Goose are doing great right now. He's
But
such a great guy.
I really liked him, but right now he has this tendency to get on my nerves, or he did have this tendency to get on my nerves so often. Every single time we talked, he would just deliberately get on my nerves because he said it was funny, and it was like, absolutely not. I'm not having this happen. So I just kind of dipped, and I really haven't talked to him since. But
these are just the specifics. I mean, I will tell you one thing.
And then Gloop, I kind of still don't like him.
Which shocked many people, including Andy, and I think also you, but I'm not sure. And Leopold too. I am now friends-ish. I'm fine with Reginald, right? The guy who was part of the anti-chat union and who I invited in.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, now
you
at this
realize
point,
what he did? He got into some like really bad stuff that I'm not.
I forgive him for what he did to me, at least, and he may not be a perfect person. I may not agree with him and everything, but he's a fine guy, and honestly, he's a good person in many ways. Okay, it's give him the benefit. You don't have to like him, but I'm just saying he's fine.
Are you sure
we do
you
talk.
know him? Okay, whatever.
I know it's shocking. I know, but we're fine. We texted it the other day. It's good. We're not like close friends at all, but we're fine. I know it's.
But I want to briefly touch upon the video that Mo made for us, and we're allowed to use his actual name. Our friend Mo, friend of the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so funny. It was because he has this running joke where his like when he doesn't think of something to say, he just asks you if you're Yemeni. Because I'm not sure. I guess he just finds it funny.
Yeah. So he asked us again this time, and I didn't ask.
Oh, he did it again? Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
He always asks, "Are you Yemeni?" We are at 1 minute and 21. 1 hour and 21 minutes. That's a lot. Do you think you can edit down approximately 21 minutes? Oh my God.